GM, GM, GM. So let me find these charts. Ondo, there it is, and Pepe, there it is. So we'll look at Ondo first, and we'll zoom out and look at a daily chart, and we will get rid of some of this shit here from altcoin request stream. So back over here, when Ondo was up near these highs, I mentioned this path. I said consolidate around here, fall back down here, and then build itself back up and break higher. So how has it done so far? Pretty good. Moved up, consolidated at the highs, dropped back down, liquidated everybody, went back down, reclaimed it, and overall seems pretty decent. If there's going to be continuation on Ondo, it's done pretty much what I would like to see. So we didn't quite get a chance for a previous all-time high retest. It tried to come down once and twice, but has made higher lows, which is good. Ondo then was consolidating in here, right? And then it broke out. So what matters here is when Ondo broke out, people start to get long. If people do that, if you see price pushing above and people starting to get long, you want to look and see, do they get wrecked? And did they get wrecked? They absolutely did get wrecked, as you had a nice, deep capitulation wick here. And then it did what is very typical. It rallies up. People say, oh, buy the dip. They buy the dip. Bleeds down. Fills the inefficiency. This time it took out those lows and recovered. So if Ondo is going to be bullish, it's done absolutely everything you would want to see. The only thing I don't like is that yesterday it had a fast pump because of CPI. It's fully retraced it back down. So a little bit consolidation needed, because that failure to go higher, that could produce a move lower on Ondo if it's going to break structure. Depends on what Bitcoin's going to do. But otherwise, I actually think Ondo is setting up pretty well. So for me, where would I look to trade Ondo? I've seen everything I would want to see in terms of a sharp sell-off, liquidating out the late longs, a retest of those lows, and a reclaim. Now, with this pump, it sent Ondo into a downtrend again, back to where it began. So I want to see it come back into the place where it was already accumulating, consolidating, see if it holds the monthly open, and then trade it on the way back up. I'm looking at it just to test that monthly open initially as a holding point. But if I'm looking at a trade signal, somewhere to trigger an actual entry, it would be one of these two things. If it goes to the monthly open, the bands are going to turn green. Sorry, from green to red. Okay, so if we go back down there, they're going to go red. If they do, I would wait until they go green again and then get long. Alternatively, the bands are already red here on the 1 hour. So if it dips down into monthly open, you want to see the bands going green again, which would be somewhere along here, right? And you would see them actually turn to green. That would be what I would look for over here, right? They would somewhere over here, they would start to flip green again, yeah? They would say red, 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 green bands. If it touches the monthly open again, we're going to set that alert. That would be perfect place for an Ondo long. Monthly open retest. It doesn't need to test the monthly open again, by the way. It's already done it several times. It does not, so I want to be clear, it does not need to go there. This was the monthly open, right? So it went straight up off the monthly open, came back, hit it once, hit it twice, went below it, got back above it, reclaimed and held, and has impulsed away. So it doesn't have to go there. It's tested it many times, plenty of times. But where price is sitting right now, I wouldn't just jump into a long straight away. I think the market is still waiting to see what happens to Bitcoin. Make no mistake, guys, if Bitcoin goes to 64, 62, or 60, it's going to tear Ondo down as well. And if that happens, so this path here, let's say this black path of Ondo, and actually let me just draw these out proper. saying something like it goes lower, it comes back, it holds, and then it goes higher, right? Just something like that. Very rough. Path 1. Path 2 is going to be weakness and down towards the previous all-time high. Those are the two paths I see. This would probably be a 60 to 64k BTC, right? That would follow that path if that's where Bitcoin goes. This would be BTC holds 65k, right? 65, 66, whatever. So basically just if Bitcoin doesn't drop lower, Ondo can hold at that level. If Bitcoin does trend, actually break levels and go lower, you're going to see Ondo dropping back as well. All right. Pepe. Let's get the frog going. So Pepe is in quite clearly one of the only all-time high breakout trends that we have. Ondo is also above all-time high, but it's much newer. Pepe has existed now for over a year, has made consecutive all-time highs. So it had its first big run, which you can't see on this chart, but Pepe's first big run was like that. Not from zero, or not from negative, but Pepe ran up first, down, came back, new all-time high, retest, boom, away it goes. New all-time high, almost a retest here. So Pepe price action is pretty clean. And then weekly perspective, it's broken out, it's pulling back, forming a higher low. Zoom into the daily. You can see that higher low forming. Now I remember a couple of days ago people talked about, and I mentioned as well, look how Pepe and Ondo are both green while the market was red. This is a perfect example of how people get themselves trapped by chasing the coin that's green when everything else is red. And then, so that was the day Pepe was green. It had that nice reversal candle when the rest of the market was a bit shaky. Market then pumped on Wednesday. Pepe was one of the first to get sold into and reversed back. Doesn't mean Pepe is bearish, but it's clearly in a downtrend on the daily. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This is a downtrend on the daily in the midst of a strong weekly uptrend. So you're looking for lower time frame signs of Pepe reaccumulating. So let me go in, zoom in here. This 4-hour value area that I'd drawn out from a while back, which actually was just this first leg on Pepe. So it was covering everything from here, the pump up, to that first top. And you can see how prices respected that area, failed to break out from it, came back inside, retested the value area high, could not get back above the VAH. What happened? Also the monthly open, boom, down to the lows. It has now formed a newer support level at previous all-time high, you see here. Broke out, resistance, flip into support. I drew this path a while back on Pepe where it does this kind of bleed, 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 down, 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 and have a third touch. So Pepe could be coming down for a third touch, and I'm going to get rid of this value area because I think we need to draw a new one over here, and we'll get a new one going. So we had a failed breakout at the highs. We had a failure to reclaim. We have the monthly open for June. So Pepe is well down. Pepe is very much red on the month. And here we are. So a very common price action pattern is to see a third touch that then holds, and then you bid there, right? So if you do see a third touch in that area, keep that in mind and look for lower time frame re-entries. Third tap. Sometimes you just get two. You very, 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 very rarely see one, right? This is why people always FOMO in long after the big flush, not realizing that retests almost always happen at least once, and quite often they happen twice. Because people panic and buy here, oh, I need to get in. Then they get flushed out, they panic and sell. It rallies up again. Oh, I was right, I should have got in. They panic and sell again, comes back down. And then the third time, they don't believe it. Oh, third time, that's weak, it's going to go lower. And of course, quite often it holds and goes higher. But Pepe is going to have to, right? It's going to have to form a bottoming range and then break from it. If you want to look at something simple like diagonals to visualize your trend break, look at how Pepe did it, right? You have your big run up, you have your sell off, you have your consolidation, it dips lower, it eventually climbs back up, breaks out from that diagonal, breaks out from that one, and then Pepe is moving higher. The purpose of a trend line is to visualize a trend. You can see the downtrend. You can then see it early stage breaking, and you combine that with market structure. So Pepe is doing the same thing here. It's currently in a downtrend. There's no reason, absolutely zero reason to get long on the lower time frames because of that. But it is moving in a way where you could see some potentially bullish shifts soon. So push down, consolidated. There's your trend line level. Broke down again, so it's making lows and lows. Tried to break above it yesterday, couldn't, rejecting off it. So you have a very clear downtrend that is formed, trend line. If Pepe comes here, can't go lower, then comes outside of this and breaks higher, that's when I consider it to be bullish, and you're looking at that. I'd say the best breakout, if you're waiting until it comes to the top corner, looking for the breakout, watch the monthly open as the SR. If you're looking to get in a bit earlier, look for a third tap and a reclaim. The other thing you want to look at too is the volume. And by the way, if you're watching this, ignore price. This is an aggregated chart of Pepe spot and 1000 Pepe, which is a different contract, but it's the perpetuals. I'm doing this so I have a volume aggregated chart. Ignore the price. The price is going to be different because some of them are Pepe, some of them are 1000 Pepe, different unit bias. But regardless of all that, where we're at right now. So from the moment Pepe broke above this level, which is holding, to right now, here is the value area. Right, we've got a new value area. And Pepe is right at the lows of it. And look how perfect this is. Your value area high is aligned perfectly with the monthly open. So if you want Pepe to have another big breakout, guess what? It's not going to happen until that level flips. But an early indication, if Pepe pushes up to this level, flips that monthly open level, that would be an early sign of a potential breakout rather than waiting for the breakout itself, which might produce a false breakout. Okay? Now, you've got the value area low, which is right where it is at the moment. So if Pepe goes down, I see a perfect setup forming. If it goes lower, just let it. Because by the way, it might be bearish. We might have a bad summer. It might just go lower. It might just chop down lower and lower. That can always happen. You might see the red path. If it doesn't, if it comes down, or even if it holds, and you start to see it flipping outside the trend line and holding in the value area, so if it does that, comes up, down, I would be looking at here and here as places to start building longs as Pepe trends through the value area towards that monthly open and breaking out. But you have to see it first, either go back down and retest or reclaim and flip that down trend line before you can start trading it upwards. And don't forget, this is all going to be quite choppy because it's not trending, it's consolidation, and it can take time. So patience required, both for Pepe and for Ondo. Could be some good trades forming, but I think the market needs a few days at least to sort itself out. And I do think there's still a decent risk of Bitcoin going a leg lower, which is going to drag these alts down as well. GM.